approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common Man, challenge the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Okay, calm down.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
Time is running out on Dan Cole's round. Let's go to 15. Bob?
Yeah, John Cole has been visibly angry. He's been talking to himself quite a bit. And it doesn't get any easier here on the par 3 15th hole at Minnesota National. This hole is guarded by two bunkers with a big tree in front of the green. Very challenging tee shot. He's opted to hit a 5-iron here. Cole, unreal pants, fluttering in the wind, mumbling to himself, I've got to have this shot. Hootie-hoo! Ooh, that's very well struck. Spinning through the air like a J.J. McCarthy pass. It's right on line. Looking good. Oh, my! It's in! I can't believe what I just saw. A hole-in-one for Cole at the 15th, and he's pointing at patrons in the gallery shouting, you doubted me, you doubted me, you doubted me, and now he's embracing his son, Peter. What a moment between father and son here at the 15th at Minnesota National.
I'm unlimited, Mr. Unlimited.
Tuesday night.
No chance.
And Peyton Manning takes the knee for the third straight time, and that should do it, folks. The final score of Super Bowl 41, the Colts 29, the Bears 17, and look at the pandemonium from the Indianapolis sideline down here in Miami. Colts spilling onto the field. Oh, and there we go, the Gatorade bath for Coach Tony Dungy, and it's Mike Doss applying the Gatorade bath. Good to hear from Mike Doss tonight as the Colts are your Super Bowl 41 champions.
Right back at you. Right back at you.
You like that? You like that?
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
The front office here at iHeartMedia Minneapolis stayed patient. They stayed patient for a couple of weeks, couple of months, a couple 13, 14 years. And then like a phoenix, I rose from the ashes. The comeback talk show host of the year. The only problem is, how can you come back from a place you've never been? I'm Dan Cole. Ack, ack, a dack, and dack, dack, ack is your password for tomfoolery and skullduggery. It will also gain you admittance into a meeting of the Loyal Order of Water Buffalo. Ooh la la, ooh la la. I'm a radio dinosaur. The fans of my La Brea tar pit. Someday archaeologists and paleontologists will be sifting through the rubble. They'll have those little, wide-brimmed hats on. And they'll be sifting through the rubble, and they'll stumble across my skeletal remains and find my cold, dead rigor mortis. Oh, boy. Did it again.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Well,
no phone?
No, I got the phone. It's just I don't have. And they'll find my cold, dead rigor mortis, laden lips, attached to an Electro Voice RE27, and they'll say, egad, a social commentator with an archaic communication device. Welcome to what should be a very fast-paced, action-packed, and controversial Common Man program. I couldn't help notice, Teneby, as we were about to begin the Common Man program before we went to Common Man. You played a liner from Diego promoting the Vikings game on Monday night against the Rams. Could you play that again? I want to listen to that.
Yeah.
See if you can find that for me.
The Vikings are in LA to face the Rams in the first round of the playoffs. Monday at 7 on the audio home for Vikings football. FM 100.3 KFXN, Minneapolis, St. Paul. The Fan, powered by Hy-Vee.
What do you think the flagship in Detroit is running this week? Oh, we got a week or two. Oh, we got 2 weeks off. It's 2 weeks. Let me do it again. Kitty's got 2 weeks off before we host some inferior team at the Litter Box in Pontiac. Can't tell you what day it will be or what time it will be, but the roar has been restored on WXYZ Detroit. WXYZ. There is a radio station in Detroit that the call letters are WXYZ. Are those the best call
That's
letters
great
you
call
can
letters.
possibly have? I don't think of any. I mean, KFAN's nice, so it's really not our official call letters. But WXYZ is so good. I can't think of one that I would rather have. WXYZ, Detroit's best sports talk. Detroit, the roar has been restored. Tenneby, I'm one of those guys, I like to just let things go. You know me. You address a controversial issue, you flesh it out, you debate people with it, and then you just move on with your life. And I've been wanting to move on with my life regarding how many weeks do you have off between games if you get a bye? And people keep emailing. I'm getting hundreds of emails, including this one to Common at KFAN.com. This came this morning. I checked my email this morning at 9:17. It says, it's Prior Lake Law Guy, okay? Common. You should do a Grum definition of what a week off is. By your definition, every team during the season, every single week during the year, gets a week off. That's preposterous. They get days in between games. That's not a week off. A true week off is when there's no game the week after, a.k.a. a bye week, or when the starters don't play and sit. So the Rams starters got 1 week off when they rested in week 18 and then back to work. So the Rams got 1 week off, and the Vikings didn't get a week off because they played the week before. Got it now? And I'm going to explain it one more time, and hopefully this will be the end.
It probably won't be.
The Rams starters the last game they played was week 17. So then there was 1 week before they were supposed to play again. And as they were suiting up before the game, I'm sure they were in the locker room about 2 or 3 hours before the game, and McVay came in and said, hey, guess what, guys? I'm giving you the game off today. Hey, cool. So then they didn't play that day, and now they have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but they have 15 days off. That's 2 weeks. It's 15 days between games. I'll give you, let's phrase it this way, Tenneby. Wild played last night, right?
Yes.
And they had a successful game, did they not?
They were victorious.
When do they play again?
Tomorrow night.
So they have a day off before they play again.
Yeah.
They have a day off before they play again.
Correct.
When the Twins play 2-3 game series, let's say they play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then Thursday, Friday. No, let's say they play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they get Monday off. That's an off day. They have a day off. How many times do you hear that? Hey, Wolves will have a day off. The Wolves will have a couple of days off between games. Why is it different for football? People, you don't understand. You're in, I don't know what it is. It's just, it's ingrained in people. It's 15 days off between games. I don't care about practice. We're not talking practice. You know what teams will do when they have a day off in baseball? They'll go take batting practice or infield practice. Like, will the Wild skate today?
I'm sure they'll practice. I don't know if they have a practice scheduled or not, but I would assume so.
Well, then they don't get any days. I mean, it's the same thing. So, but they still, it's considered the Wild have a day off. They have a day off. And as a matter of fact, didn't they have that stretch where, no, it was the NBA. They had that silly, goofy tournament things, in-season tournament. Yeah. Didn't a bunch of teams get days off? They're called days off. That's what they're called. Hopefully, that will be the end of it.
It won't be.
It probably won't be. Here's another email that came in, Tenneby, and you're included on this one. You and I are getting ripped.
Uh-oh.
Perfect storm is the subject line. You're the only two saying it wasn't intentional grounding by Goff. The refs were god-awful. Darnold was absolutely atrocious, missing J.J. twice for tutties and airmailing it 4 feet over Hawkinson's head on third down. Plus, our kicker was absolutely atrocious, and Van Ginkel dropped an easy pick 6. All things that don't usually happen with this team. He's going that route. It was the perfect storm for the Kitties to win. Detroit is just better, though, right? Okay, let's go with that. Well, if they're just better, then why did you pick the Vikings? Makes no sense. What's wrong? This is a guy, he's got full-blown avatar, and he is so bitter.
Yeah.
He can't accept the loss. I thought people would learn from me. You just roll with it. It's not that big of a deal. You've got to enjoy the winning as well as the losing.
How many times did the Lions beat the Vikings this year?
Twice.
That would signal to me they're the better team.
O'Connell has yet to beat him. Has O'Connell beaten the Vikings and Lions? I don't think he has. I think he's...
Have they won like 6 in a row?
I think they're 6 in a row. Certainly 1 and 5 at best. There were things that happened in that game for Detroit that generally Detroit doesn't, it tend to be.
It's like O'Connell's 1 and 5.
1 and 5.
Well,
tend to be. Is it 1 and 5 or 2 and 2?
1 and 5.
1 and 5.
KFC won the first one, but he's lost 5 in a row.
All things that don't usually happen with this team. You know what usually doesn't happen with Detroit? Get held to 10 points in the first half. That doesn't usually happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play that game all you want. Here's what happens to people. And it happens to every fan.
Do you want to know why it did happen to them? Because they played a better team.
Well, that's it. Here's what happens. And it happens for every fan base, I'm sure. And it happens for every sport. Fans always are. You and I have discussed this hundreds of times. Fans cannot accept that maybe their team just isn't as good as they thought it was. And that anytime their team loses, particularly in an important game like, there were those that were calling this the most important regular season game in the history of the National Football League. You can make that argument because of what was at stake. 2 14-2 clubs never met. The winner gets the division. They get a first-round bye and 2 weeks off. 2 weeks off. That's 2 weeks before they have to play another game. That's 2 weeks off. While the loser has to go on the road right away. The 14-2 record, 14-3, and there are people that are bitter about it. They can't believe that their team actually lost that game. It couldn't be what the other team did. The answer has to be, it's us. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. We couldn't accomplish this. Sometimes you got to look at it and say, other team just outplayed you. They decided to blitz almost, 50% of the time or more? They decided to go with man coverage, which usually is your death knell if you play the Vikings. And it worked. Now, let's say the Vikings beat the Rams and they end up having to play Detroit because let's say all the playoff games hold scratch or whatever it's called. So then the Vikings would, if the 2 seed and the 3 seed and the 4 seed win, then the Vikings as the 5 seed. No, as the 2, 3, and the 5 win, then the Vikings would travel to Detroit. They could change it completely by starting to do the things they used to do, and Detroit doesn't accomplish what they did. Just stop making excuses for your club. You got clobbered. You got run out of the stadium. It's not the end of the world. It happens to all teams. And you know what, Tenneby? You can use this if you want. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in the same season. Keep that in mind. Thank you.
Brilliant.
We'll break. We'll come back. We got a little dis, dat, lat. No Rosen today. He's convalescing. We'll break. We'll come back.
You've got to be kidding
with
me.
more here on the Common Man program on The Fan.
Over to our contest page and enter for your chance to win a pair of free passes to see Den of Thieves 2 Pantera, starring Gerard Butler and O'Shea Jackson Jr. coming to theaters on January 10th. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter.
Couple 13-14 pass, Common Man program. I just love, the beauty of the, by the way, we're broadcasting live from the 651 Carpets Plus studios. It's climate controlled. 651 Carpets Plus studios. I didn't turn the heat down. PA has it like a hot box in here.
Yeah.
It's almost like a sauna. He cranks it up to like low, mid 70s. I bring her down to like 69. Well, because I'm cold. Cruel and calculated is what I am. So it kind of matches my personality when it's cold in here. But the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line, you can get so many different opinions from people that are hearing the same thing. This one says, Dan, you bring a little bit of joy to my world every day. I appreciate you.
Oh.
Keep it up, me boy. And I get, the one before that, though, was just the opposite, tend to be. This one says, you'll love this. Out of all of your horrible bits, this is one of your worst. Drop it or lose listeners. Oh, that's right. You don't care. Good luck, me boy. It's not a bit. Bits are like the Brad Radke thing. Bits are like Kevin McHale's Big Man Camp. Boy, it's been a long time since we've done anything new here on the Grum. It's been 20 years, probably. This ain't a bit. It's just a discussion. I just casually said, hey, the Lions will get a couple weeks off. And then people go, no, it's not 2 weeks. They're only getting a week off. Well, no, from the last time they'll have played football. It's like tend to be said, it's semantics. I don't care what you think. All I know is you cannot refute the fact that the Lions will have 14 days off minimum before they play their next game. So just stop the nonsense. And here's another one. Spoiler alert, Detroit's a better football team than the Vikings. I get any given Sunday, but that was not a perfect storm. The Vikings got dog-walked. What is dog-walked? I never heard that one before. I like that. They got dog-walked. Dussel was like, man, that was dog water, man. Something bad.
Yeah.
I'd never heard that one, but they come up with all sorts of new ones, the kids. Dog water. Kind of like that one. But anyway, so that's just what it is. By the way, Peek at the Purple is brought to you by Affordable Electric. Affordable Electric. They are 24-hour or same-day service. They will not start work until they give you an estimate. And they are your old home specialists. Affordable Electric. That's affordable-electric.com. Affordable Electric. Shockingly affordable. As far as Viking stuff, it's almost it's like the calm before the storm. It's quiet, almost too quiet. I've not heard much. It's today's Wednesday. I think because of a Monday game, you don't probably hear quite as much chatter. I've not seen anything in checking news stories and websites. Is there anything you got that's new regarding the Purple, or is it just kind of waiting for Sunday's game or the Monday night game?
I haven't heard anything new. The only thing that's kind of coming up now is all the fires in Los Angeles right now.
Okay.
So I don't know. There's people just abandoning their cars and fleeing on foot, and I have no idea the geography of where the fires are and in relation to where the game's going to be played, and whether there would need to be a delay or move the stadium or move to a different stadium. But I guess that's something that could potentially arise.
I guess Andrew Kramer, who writes Vikings for the Fish Wrap Factory at Westside, just did a piece this morning that raises some interesting issues. The headline says, Vikings film review, why Sam Darnold couldn't throw a tutty in Detroit. The subheadline says, missed throws, no run game, and coaching losses all amounted to going 0 for 4 near the goal line during the Vikings' dismal loss to Detroit on Sunday night. And then an emailer sent me this, Mobile Pete. I'll call Mobile Pete. Subject line, and this was an email. Whoops. Sorry. This was an email that was sent at 9:08 last night to Common at KFAN.com. Subject line tend to be Vikes running game. Hey, Common, maybe you can use this to kill a segment. I've been annoyed all year by the Vikings' refusal to run in short yardage situations. I think part of the issue Sunday inside the 10 was that the Lions did not have to even consider that the Vikings might run. So I went back and looked at all the game logs from this season, and then in parentheses, he even says, sad, really.
Very sad.
That's what he says. And here's what I found out. I like people that beat me to the punch because he knows we're going to make fun of him for going back to the game log and breaking down film. I mean, that's just something literally, I'd rather plunge my head into a boiling hot vat of asphalt. But I love Teneby, his enthusiasm. And it's sort of like being a detective, a sleuth, a gumshoe. He's going to leave no, well, for me, it would be leaving no sand trap unraked, no ball mark unreplaced, unrepaired, and no divot unreplaced by relentless pursuit of the truth, the whole truth, or some semblance of the truth. But he is doing whatever he's doing. He's leaving no page unturned. I don't remember. There's an old saying in Tennessee that used to have to be about not leaving anything to chance. But here's what he found out. The Vikings have faced 18 third and 2 situations this year. They passed all 18 times. Third and 2, 18 times. They passed all 18 times, gaining a first down 11. So they're 11 of 18. That's a pretty good percentage, but they never once ran the ball on 3rd and 2. They went for it on 4th and 2 3 times, all passes, getting a first down once. I thought they went for more than 3, 4. Oh, 4th and 2. So, yeah. Okay, for 4th and 2. I get it. Okay. Because I know they've gone for it on 4th down a few more times than that. The Vikings have faced 21 3rd and 3 situations this year. They passed 19 of those times, gaining a first down 7 times. The 2 times they ran were a Darnold scramble, so designed as a pass, and the last play of the Tennessee game to run out the clock. Minnesota went for it on 4th and 3, all passes, gaining a first down twice. In summary, on 3rd or 4th down, needing 2 or 3 yards, the Vikings passed 43 times and ran twice. A Darnold scramble and a last play of the game. I think it's shocking and speaks to KOC's pass, gently down the field mentality and his lack of confidence in our O-line to run block and in our running backs. It seems like if you want to be a big game team, you need a little bit more balance, especially in big games. I enjoy the Grom. Happy New Year to you, Antenna Mobile Pete. Some extensive and exhaustive research there, Teneby. What are your thoughts about that? Most teams do pass nowadays, though we've sort of seen a sea change a little bit, right? More teams are now running the ball again, and I think you and I have sort of bounced around a couple of ideas. One of them that I think is at the forefront is that because defenses are so prepared and built to stop the pass, that it might be a little less difficult to run now. And some of the coaches that are one step ahead of the defensive coordinators are saying, guess what? They're not ready for the run anymore. They're waiting for. They don't have any. They don't have as. The defensive line is a little bit smaller. They're more. They're quick. They're agile. Linebackers quick, agile. Defensive backs quick, agile. Maybe we run the ball a little bit more, and we've seen the success. Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Knuckles and Sonic, the guy for Green Bay, Jacobs, and there's others. Joe Mixon. I mean, there's others. I'm sure all teams, at least the ones that are successful, are running the ball a lot more. Does this bother you when you look at these, that on 3rd and 4th, on 2 to 3 yards, the Vikings always throw the ball? Do you think it is because they don't trust the offensive line? They don't block well, and the running. I thought Aaron Jones was going to solve all that for us.
Well, there's no doubt Kevin O'Connell's a pass first guy, right? I think we've all established that. Aaron Jones hasn't been available a whole lot true. In some of these situations in recent games. And I guess maybe 2 yards, you could argue. Once you get to 3 yards, 3rd and 3, 4th and 3, I think other than maybe the Detroit Lions, every team in the NFL
that's true.
Is passing in those situations. If you've got the best receiver in football, I think that also contributes to it. So you want to put the ball in your best playmaker's hands. 3 yards is just not that short of a play anymore. And it's the passing game is so much more efficient now than it was in 1995. That you can design routes that are going to get you, that are pretty high percentage plays to get you a first down in those situations. So, and in the Detroit game specifically, a lot of those pass plays were wide open.
Yep.
And we just missed the throw.
Yeah. And I guess I tend to agree with you for the most part, though I do think sometimes when it's that lopsided, do teams then? I mean, again, you can say, even when you know the play's coming, think of all the different offenses over the years and all the different quarterbacks and receivers and running backs where you knew what the play was coming, but you just couldn't stop it, right? You know Mahomes is going to throw to Kelsey, you just can't stop it, right? So, maybe with the Vikings, it's like, well, yeah, we throw because we know you can't stop it when we're throwing to JJ or we're throwing to Hawkinson or whatever the case may be. I still, though, if a defense has done their due diligence and their homework and their film study of the all 22 wide, they go, well, this team never, ever runs the ball, so don't even expect it. Maybe sometimes you throw them for
how much is that different if we still have Christian Darrisaw, too, right? I mean, their best offensive lineman hasn't been playing for a good chunk of the season. I
think you're right. We'll take a break, come back. That was your Peek at the Purple brought to you by Affordable Electric. Affordable-electric.com. Shockingly affordable! We'll break. We'll come back with a little Dis Dat Lat right here, and we affectionately call FM 100.3 The Fan.
Want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN program? Make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Bryan text line. Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rates apply.
Double 13-14 pastime common. He's 10 a B. 534 top O the hour. We had the head coach yesterday, didn't we? Or Monday? Does he do a Wednesday thing? Do we have him today? I don't recall. Or will it be different?
Not today, but I think he's going to be doing it during the program tomorrow.
Okay.
I thought I saw like 12:40 tomorrow or something like that.
Well, then we'll carry the head coach his weekly midweek news conference. I guess generally it is Wednesdays, but because of the Monday night start rather than a Sunday. That's 1 day difference, by the way. That means the Vikings get one extra day off. They get Sunday off. They don't play Sunday. They will play on Monday night. A number of different ways to contact us here at the Fan. 1-800-320-5326. 1-800-320-5326. Other than Warren, I don't think we fielded a phone call here in 20 years. We had a half a dozen yesterday. So we're willing to take them. As if Tenneby notices.
It was Monday when we had a lot.
Was it Monday?
Yeah.
Tenneby notices when the phone rings. He'll pick it up. Sometimes he just doesn't see it, and that's okay. We're busy here. Then there's the email, which we don't do very much anymore. And when I was first told by Chad Abbott we were adding texting, and with email we were just going to eliminate it, I was bitter. So that's my connection, my lifeblood with the listener. My connection with the listeners is my lifeblood. But I think he was right. I was wrong. The text messaging is much easier for most people. And there's the Brad John Bryan KFAN text line, the Holla Hotline, 64686. And then, we haven't utilized it, tend to be as much as we probably should have, and that would be the KFAN Talkback. If you have the iHeartRadio app, search stations, find the Fan, and then you'll see a little microphone icon in the corner of the screen. You tap it, and you got 30 seconds or less to deliver us an audio message. That was yesterday we did them, right? Or was that also on Monday? Because we did a bunch of them the other day. Maybe that was on Monday.
The day after the game.
Yeah, we did all sorts of them. And I like that, Tenneby. It's a real connection with the listener, and then they don't have to wait on hold forever. That's the other thing. You get into a segment, and you know me, Tenneby. There are so many times where I get on a roll with something that's really spellbinding, lean in radio, as we like to call it. I can't just let down all the people that are just wrapped up in what I'm doing. They're on the edge of their seat. They're waiting with bated breath for the completion of the bit. And then I got to go to a phone call. I can't do that. So with the talk back, you got your 30 seconds, you deliver your message, and boom, we just have it here. And what's made it easier is to leave it up to we have no interns anymore. To leave it up to you to have to check those makes it virtually impossible to do your job in there. But I have the ability to see them without having to listen. I press a button and I get the text instead. It translates it to text. So I don't know if we're going to do it every single day, and I don't know if we're going to do it at the same time every day, but go ahead and send us some text messages on our KFAN, talkbacks at iHeartRadio app.
The new and improved iHeartRadio app.
Yes, that's right. It is new and improved. Then you can now have, is it preset? No, what is it now?
There's like preset stations.
Yeah,
you can have like your KFAN station,
right.
Your Wild station, your Viking station, your Wolf station, your KFAN Plus station,
At
your
the
other
push of a button.
iHeartRadio stations.
Yeah, all there at the push of a button. That's new for us. And so go to the talkback, leave us some, and maybe at I'll even say, let's have 1:30 today. 10 of you will come back from a break, and we'll play half a dozen of them. Just see what's on the minds of our listeners out there. Me, what did I want to ask you? This is what I wanted to ask you. I was reminded by, I'll read the text message too, because the text message, I had planned to talk about it. And then I don't know what happened. I got lost in my thoughts. This one says, comment, what do you think about this new 2-hour indoor golf tournament? I couldn't bring myself to watch it today. I'm the official, unofficial ambassador for Minnesota Golf, so maybe I was shirking my duties, shirking my responsibilities by not watching it. I think I made it clear I'm more into playing golf than watching golf. I do enjoy watching the best players in the world, but I'm not an every day of the week guy or every tournament of the year guy. I'm not watching the Greater Greensboro Open. Sorry if that makes me a bad ambassador, then that's what I am. I watch the majors. I'll even watch what I'll never call it. They call it the 5th major. It will never be a major. The Players is a cool tournament, though. It's a demanding golf course and the best players in the world. One of the best fields of the year, if not the strongest field of the year. And sometimes it just gets a bit gimmicky. I can't watch, Baby Brother Peter watches good, all that. YouTube, as Tennessee, as you know, is filled with hundreds of thousands of different YouTube shows. They're not TV or movies. They're just the average everyday rube out there wants to be an influencer. And they put together these. There's another one where there's these 2 guys that play different golf courses around the country. And I think one of them used to be he played in the Masters, but he doesn't have a tour card anymore, and another guy. And they'll play these courses, and they'll just play, and somebody's filming them, and they'll talk about their shots. And maybe Brother Peter will watch that for an hour or 2 on end. I just have, and look, bland personalities as well as anybody.
Yes.
These guys are bland. They don't say anything funny or anything. And then when they try to be, they're not. It's like, why do you want to watch 2 average everyday Joes, good players in the grand scheme? I mean, they're chops if you're talking about what really good golf is. They're Romo-like, right? But if you like it, knock yourself out. The idea, this indoor golf thing, they were hitting into a screen the size of a drive-in movie theater screen, from what I understand. Yes. They hit out of real dirt that allegedly is sand they got from Augusta National Golf Club in Augusta, Georgia. That's what they said. Or at least it's the same sand. And they had 2 different teams, Bay City Rollers against Southside Johnny and the Ashbury Dukes. And they played against
Sounds like
each other.
live golf.
Yeah, that's what it was. And they played against each other. And who's the guy from Northern Ireland? Not
Lowry.
Yeah, Lowry. Apparently, he was a cut-up. He was self-deprecating. He was funny. He was letting his personality show. Did you watch any of it?
I didn't, just because we had our own youth hockey game last night, and then I came home and watched the Wild game. But if I would have been free and had nothing going on, I probably would have ducked in.
I'd like to get, and maybe we can do this on Talkback. Send it, if you watched it last night, I'd like to get your review. A buddy of mine who ducks in and out of the radio station all the time said Sauce watched it, talked about it, but my buddy doesn't really listen. Sauce is kind of, it's hard
to understand. He was critical of it on social media, yes.
Yeah, because he's hard, Sauce is hard to understand. He has trouble formulating 3 or 4 word sentences, as you know, and especially if they got more than 2 syllables, he's in trouble. So he was critical of it, you say, okay.
Well, just via social, I didn't hear him talk about it, but.
Because if I don't want to watch the Greater Greensboro Open, I don't know why I would want to watch it. It's like.
I would have ducked in just because I'm curious.
Yeah.
but I could see myself not liking it.
Anytime they would finish, I don't know how it works now because they moved the PGA Championship to May because they weren't getting much viewership in August because more people would rather watch a preseason game between Dallas and New England than they would the PGA Championship. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
It's a fact. So the PGA of America realized that. So did the networks. So they bumped the PGA Championship into May. So the final major of the year is in mid-July with the Open Championship. But after the PGA tournament was done, they would always call it the silly season. I think is what they used to call it in the PGA Tour, where they're playing events that nobody really cares about. And now it's just to get, FedEx Cup points and such like that. So I won't watch that. I find it hard for me to want to watch. I don't mind playing on a simulator. Matter of fact, you probably heard me tend to be pitching 5-iron golf, new simulator down. I'd like to welcome them to the Common Man program as part of my cachet of advertising partners. They're down on the North Loop in Minneapolis. Really cool place, really well laid out. It's got, I think, 6 or 7 bays. It's got the lounge tables and the couches, and they've got chef-inspired food. It's a great place. So I don't mind playing. Simulator golf, but watching it on television with the best. I'd rather watch the best players in the world play outside. Do we need that much golf? I guess there are so many stations out there. When you talk about all the different satellite stations and YouTube stations, I guess they need. It's why they have so many bowl games. We talked about that. They're not really rewarding teams for good seasons. A 7-5 season is not a good season. A 6-6 season is not a good season. Even 8-4. Now you're okay. That's not bad. But they're really not rewards. They're given to schools because ESPN and whoever else is showing bowl games, I think it's mostly ESPN. The minor bowls, I think, are like an ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU.
The Ocho.
Yeah, the Ocho. They're on all of those. And so they need filler material. They need something in the middle of the week other than showing the Pat Sajak. No, what's his name? McAfee. The Pat McAfee show. Or showing
First Take.
First Take. And stuff. After a while, people just, it's just, NBA Today and all that. I think most people would rather watch, most fans would rather watch a live sporting event. So let's load up those bowl games. 40 teams playing bowl games. Half those teams end up winning championships at the end of the year, tend to be. They win a championship. So maybe there's room for this. But I'd like to know, my guess is the numbers were probably fairly good. The overnights, as they call it in the TV business, were probably pretty good because it was the first time it's ever been done. But I wonder...
and it's probably one of those where it's built a little bit more than regular golf for, let's face it, the Baby Brother Peters of the world that are just watching stuff on TikTok and Instagram, and you get short little clips. You're more likely to get those types of clips for social, especially because they're mic'd up and you're a little bit more intimate with the players than you would be for a normal golf event, and you can hear them talking. So I think it's built more for where you're going to get instant reaction on TikTok.
Kyle from Farmington says, I watched the TGL. Is that what it's called? TGL?
Yes.
What does that stand for? The Golf League?
Let's go with that.
I watched TGL and liked it. Don't think it will be appointment television for me. But if it's on and I got nothing else on, I'll probably throw it on again. I definitely don't think it's for everyone, though. Here's another.
It's Tomorrow Golf League. Well, it's spelled TMRW Golf League.
I watched it last night, thought it was pretty damn cool. You could definitely tell it was the first go-round, but overall, it was fun to watch. Yeah. Okay, so we got 2 people that both said they liked it, but neither one said it was one of those things I can't wait to see it again. TP2.
If it's going to work, it's got to have golf. You got to have golfers with great personalities.
Yes,
that's right. I mean, not to slap ourselves on the back, but the reason Program Password is fun is because you have good personalities bantering back and forth. Right? It's not like the actual gameplay is fine, but
let me give you a.
Huh?
No, you're right though. This one says the tour is in a bad spot. It's unsustainable. Yeah, it is sort of because of the live stuff, right? A lot of the best players in the world don't play with the other best players in the world. And I don't know. I've not looked at PGA Tour numbers, television numbers, ratings. I think it's still strong, but maybe not. I just don't know where this fits in for me.
It's a way for the best golfers to make another buck.
Yeah, well, I think that's exactly what
another outlet.
Speaking of the PGA, the Century Tournament this weekend. Now, normally, as I just said, this week starts tomorrow. Normally, as I just said, I pretty much only watch the four majors. I'll watch the players, and I'll occasionally, as I'm, January, February, when there's not a football game on or something, and I'm sitting around the house, maybe going through, like last year, I was going through storage room stuff. I kick it on and watch it for an hour or so, but, not with any real enthusiasm. I will this weekend. The Century, there's only one Minnesotan male that has a PGA Tour card. You know who that is. His name is Frankie Sappin III. He's from North Oaks.
Are you sure that's how you pronounce his last name?
Hold on. Rosen would know. He's tight with him.
Yes.
He can book him. Remember when he said, I can get him on the air if you want. Okay. Trust me.
Taves.
Craig Warrion, master professional. Teaching pro for Bird Golf Academy. Also the teaching pro at Edinburgh, USA. Close personal friend, as Sid would say, as the late Sid Hartman would say. I've known Craig since 1993, 94. We've been hosting Tee to Green ever since. Co-hosting, and then Paul Peterson's been added to the mix as well. Frankie Sappin's number one instructor is Craig Warrion, and he has a tour card now, and he plays in the Century. Now, again, I asked Craig how it works. He doesn't play in every event. He's got a limited amount of events with that tour card. And the only way you keep that tour card and get invited to more events, you got to play well. So Frankie's first this way. He's played in a PGA Tour event before. He got an exemption. Hollis Kavner, who runs the 3M Open and a couple of other tournaments, he extended an exemption. Instead of giving one to Tony Romo, he gave one to Frankie Sappin, a guy who is a real golfer who has a chance to make something of himself. Didn't give it to some former football player who's now a football analyst who's an okay player but has no business playing with the best players in the world. So Frankie, maybe you can look him up and see what time he tees off tomorrow too. So I'd love to see him. Obviously there'll be butterflies, I'm sure. Kid will be probably awfully nervous, but it's his PGA debut. And I've had a chance to talk to Frank. We don't text and talk more than most people know. I won't do the Paul Allen thing, but I've spent a few minutes here and there with him, out at a driving range, or he's come to drop by a couple of Tee to Green broadcasts before. So, and maybe we'll have an opportunity to have him on this year. It's tough to get the guys on Saturdays, between 10 and noon, because generally they're either playing or on the way to the golf course or getting prepared.
What's the name of the golf?
It's the Century. I think it's called SEN.
Oh, Century.
Century.
Not Century.
No, Century. SEN.
Is that the one in Wisconsin?
TRY. It'd be pretty hard to play in Wisconsin right about now. I think they're still playing in Hawaii. I still think they're on the Hawaiian swing. I think Century is the company. That sponsors the tournament. But it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I will actually, because sports is your whole life. Sports is more fun when you know somebody that's connected to the game. Like watching Truax, watching Jamal James, watching guys you actually know participate in the largest stages in the world is kind of fun, as you know, tend to be. So, you know me when I used to play, Coon Rapids Athletic Association football. There wasn't a much higher level than that back in the day, and I played both sides of the ball, but we've explained that before. So we'll see what Frankie does. I'm sorry, it's the Sony.
I was going to say.
I'm sorry. I thought the Century. The Century was last week. I'm glad there are people. Tim, you're probably like a lot of other people. You wonder, how does he even host a sports talk show? He generally has no idea.
I wonder how you function as a human being.
I really do. It's the Sony this weekend. It's the Sony. Sorry about that. Century was last weekend, won by Hideki Matsuyama. I do know that. And here's the problem, Tenneby. They've gotten so good now. Did you see the numbers Matsuyama posted. I think he was 35 under for the tournament, which is a record, I think, of score related to par and the number of strokes under par. Because what they say about the golf course is that Kalaelela, Maluialuli, whatever golf course they're playing, they say if the wind's not blowing, it's pitch and putt. It's driver wedge. It's a wedge fest is what it is. And it's not bomb and gouge because it's not like they've got the rough up high there. So these guys are shooting 35 under par. How is it?
This is ridiculous.
Was that even fun to watch?
No.
Watch a guy bomb one up the middle and then throw a wedge close and tap in. That doesn't do anything for me.
Frankie Sapp in the third.
Yep.
His tee time is 5:10 p.m. Central Time. He'll start on 10. He'll be golfing with something called Aldrich Potgieter and amateur Luke Clanton.
Yeah. Yeah, he won't be with the big boys. So it's 5. What is it, Central Time?
5:10 Central Time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, prime time action.
You'll probably not be able to settle in. This will be fun. I look for it. I look forward to it. Hey, we got through the first hour. I thought it was action-packed, fast-paced, and controversial as I predicted it would be. Let's keep the pace up. Tend to be 5-3-4 after the top of the hour break. Got you.
Is it the end of the end of the end for the poll ads?